I remember the moment she sent that text. My phone buzzed in the middle of a quiet afternoon, the kind where the sunlight falls in lazy stripes across the floor, and for a moment, I thought it was going to be something sweet. Then I read the words, "I think we should open our relationship, but only on my side." There was laid bare her desire to explore, to test boundaries I didn't even know were negotiable. The casualness of it, the "but only on my side," stung more than I expected. My chest tightened. Betrayal had a sharp, immediate taste, but I swallowed it down and replied, carefully, with the calmest tone I could muster, "Sounds fair." And then I began my experiment, not the one she was asking for. My experiment was silent, invisible, complete. I closed the doors to my apartment. Physically and emotionally, I stopped answering her texts, calls, the subtle pings that had always drawn me back to her instantly. I pulled back my time, my presence, my wallet, the little tokens of availability I had always offered freely. I made myself unavailable. At first, she laughed when she noticed. The first 24 hours of my absence were met with mild irritation, maybe even amusement. She expected the world to revolve around her whims, and for a moment, I let her think that's what she was controlling. But days passed. 2, 3. By day 4, her laughter had become a low, nervous insistence, followed by terse messages that grew more desperate. "Hey, are you okay? Why aren't you answering?" I didn't respond. Day 5 brought anger. Short, clipped texts that tried to guilt me, to manipulate me into bending. "I thought we had something special," she wrote. I felt a pang, not for her absence, but for the irony. "Special," she said, as if openness meant freedom only in one direction. My silence was a mirror, a reflection of her own hypocrisy. By day 6, panic had settled into her messages. Calls came in rapid succession, voicemails left in a trembling voice. And I finally replied, but not with words. I opened the door to my apartment for the first time in almost a week and let her find me there, calm, unshaken. She arrived, eyes wide, mouth opening and closing without sound. The realization hit her all at once. The game she thought she was playing, I had rewritten. You've been avoiding me," she stammered, a mixture of fear and disbelief. "Yes," I said, simply, "just like you wanted. Only on your side, remember?" She froze, as if my words were a physical strike. The air between us thickened, heavy with the unsaid, the unacknowledged. For days, she had been pulling at a thread she thought I would never tug back, and suddenly, the fabric of her control was gone. She had imagined freedom without consequence. I had given her consequences without cruelty. She tried to argue, to apologize, to reason her way out, but nothing could erase the echo of her own words. She had asked for an open relationship, but only on her terms. My silence, my withdrawal, had been the only way to show her what that really meant. Freedom is a two-way street, and selfish freedom is still selfish. In the end, she left slowly, like the tide pulling back from the shore, leaving traces of her footprints on my heart. But I didn't chase her. Not this time. The lesson had been taught, and the emptiness she left behind was strangely liberating. I discovered a strange power in absence, a clarity in withdrawal, and the bitter sweetness of having stood my ground. I had loved her, fiercely, with an openness she could not match. And when I mirrored her desires back at her in the purest form, she learned exactly what open really meant, not as a promise of endless freedom, but as a reflection of her own choices. Sometimes I think about the 6 days. I remember the messages that went unanswered, the calls I let ring. I remember the mixture of fear, confusion, and realization on her face when she finally saw me again. And I smile, not out of cruelty, but because I finally understood that love isn't about bending endlessly to someone else's whims. Sometimes, love is setting the boundaries that teach the lessons people refuse to learn. She wanted freedom on her side, but the universe, or at least I, decided that freedom comes with accountability. And that accountability has a way of revealing the truth about people faster than any conversation ever could. In the end, I didn't lose. I only gave her a taste of her own medicine. And for the first time, I felt what it meant to truly stand for myself, even in love.